How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast, where we come together to raise our vibration, lift our perspective, and build a positive mindset. My name is Henry, and I'm so thankful to have each and every one of you here today because in this episode, we're going to tap into that positive energy. If you want to know the inner workings of a positive mindset and how you can apply it to yourself, this is the episode for you. But before we get started, we're going to take a few moments to slow down, zero in. We're going to take some deep, healing, meditative breaths to help us align on the frequency that we want in our lives. So pick a word. It could be love, joy, happiness, abundance, whatever frequency you want. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, you're going to say this word over and over and over again. Really charge yourself up with that energy. And then as you're holding your breath, visualize yourself doing something in that frequency. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go and take a deep breath in. And out. We're going to take another deep breath. This one's about alignment, about getting ourselves in receiving mode so we can receive the message that we need to hear to get us in that positive perspective. So just imagine that you are surrounded by the most healing, uplifting energy that's meant specifically for you. It could have a certain color, a certain taste, a certain smell, however you imagine it. And when you breathe it in, it's going to charge you up. It's going to break down the negativity, the blocks, the weight, everything that's just been holding you back. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. Well, before we get started, if there's something that you take away from this episode, if you're on YouTube or Spotify, you can actually leave a comment below. Not only does it help me know what resonated with you, but somebody else might read your comment and might inspire them to give this episode a listen. I want to make this the #1 mindset podcast in the world, and the best way to do it is together. So whether you leave a positive comment or share this with somebody, it means the absolute world to me, and I could never thank you enough. But let's dive into today's episode. So I was thinking about what to talk about. It's Saturday. It's a great weekend day. What mindset shift do we need? What do we need to become that positive self? And so I was writing some notes and I realized I've never shared it like this before. How am I able to do this? I get this question so often. How are you able to continually come out with content like this? How are you able to come up with the ideas, speak about so many different things, but yet be in such alignment with a specific message? And you see, I've thought about that. How can that be? And the fact is, this is what I am. I am not talking out of alignment with self. I'm not researching something and then sharing what I learned. I'm not studying something and sharing what I learned. I am speaking as I am. And this has been built. I was not born this way. You can be anything that you desire. Your energy, your frequency, the essence of you is by choice. You are the designer. You are the author, the creator of you, of this thing that you see here. This Henry that you're meeting is designed. And this Henry that you're meeting now will be different than who you meet a year from now. I am growing. I am expanding. I do study things. I do internal meditation, reflection, all of those things. And as that builds up, like say for instance, if you're watching on video, this is the height of my understanding. And I'm just putting my hand over my head. So I understand up to my head, but I'm sharing at the level that my mouth is. So I'm not sharing the highest form of self because that's not ready to share yet. That's not strong enough. I'm just learning to expand. But as I continue to go forward, that thing that used to be the expansion now becomes my normal frequency. And I'll share that. If you go back, and this is what's so great about doing episodes almost daily. I've been doing them daily for a while now, but through certain periods I did 5 a week, sometimes 7 a week, sometimes 3 a week, sometimes twice a day. It's changed. But if you go back to when I truly launched this podcast back in 2020, that Henry is different than this Henry. And I wouldn't say that Henry wasn't less smart. Like, I think I'm the same, education-wise, but my understanding of what I am has changed. They say to know and to not do is to not know. So many of us get lost in the learning of things without actually becoming the thing that we learned. And if you don't become the thing that you've learned, you don't truly know it. It's the difference between a professor at school that teaches on a subject but has never done it. They just became educated on a subject from learning, from studying, and they teach it. It doesn't mean they don't know what they're talking about, but their knowledge of it is different than somebody else that's actually doing it. And I'll use business, for example. Somebody that goes to school, learns about business, and then they go higher and higher education, then become a educator in business. What they're telling you is very different than somebody else that goes out on their own, builds their own business, grows it that way, and they share their experience and ideas on it. I am taking that route. I am not looking to educate and learn things just to know them. I want to become them. That's how you change how you feel. You cannot think out of alignment of self and actually feel it. You have to become that alignment, meaning you think something, you speak something, and you act in alignment with those things. The more you do it, you create a pattern. That pattern moves in a certain frequency or vibration, and that vibration aligns with the frequency. When you do that, that's what you become. So I'm able to talk about these subjects every single day on the podcast, with my one-on-one clients, in my group Freedom Fundamentals, with the people I work with, all of it, because it's who I am. I can't speak differently. I have changed. I am not the same person I was, and it's a gift. Now, the hard part about growth, whether it's positive growth or negative growth, not everybody accepts it. And that's okay. It's not for them to accept. Hopefully, people grow with you or people are open to the change that you're becoming, but sometimes they won't be. They aligned with you when you were a certain vibration. When you change your vibration to them, what they receive from you has changed. So you have become the one that changed. And that can be hard for people when they are not in a change mode. You are not better for going under growth, and you are not worse for staying the same. It's just an experience that you are deciding to have. So when someone stays in their current state, you level up, you go into your new state. You're not better, they're not worse, you're just different, but they may have a hard time adjusting to the new you, and they may not accept it. Sometimes when that happens, people lower themselves back down because they want that acceptance. They want to fit in with the people that they used to. That's okay. That's just an experience, and it's your choice on the experience that you have. This version of me is a choice. The year in the future, who I'm going to become, is also a choice. And that version of me, I'm designing in my head. Right now, I'm creating what I'll become in my mind. It cannot be stopped. I made a post earlier on Instagram about, I've already won. You've already won. In fact, I think the episode that came out before this was on that same subject. And you've won, and I've won because of what we are. We are creators and we are observers. We observe and we create and we observe. That's what we are. That's why you've won. It's not what you're going to become as the prize. That's just an experience. So if you want to understand what I'm saying on another level, become it. Follow on the journey. Don't just learn about things. Don't get lost in the pursuit of knowledge. Get lost in the pursuit of becoming. Becoming is what sets you free. Becoming is what changes your internal state. You can't learn your way out of it. There's not a lesson, a teacher, a guru that can tell you something that truly changes you without you changing yourself. Because your perception, how you see the world, is how you receive it. How you see energy is how you receive it. That's how it goes. But you can't see beyond your current state. So you have to level up your state if you want to see something different. So if you want that positive mindset, whatever that means to you, to me, a positive mindset is just a higher frequency mind. It's not something that doesn't have negativity. It's not something that doesn't go through pain. It's not something that doesn't experience hurt. Of course it does. Positive mind just means it's high. It's up in the air. It's close to love, the highest frequency. That's where it operates. But you have to build yourself up to that. That's why I could do a podcast again and again and again and never run out of things to say. I'm literally just speaking frequency. My mind doesn't think differently than this. There's no other way of speaking that could come out. I can't do it. If I started talking about sports, it would still slowly turn into this type of conversation. I could talk about sports, of course, but the perspective on it would be from me. I can't do it like I used to 5 years ago. I'm no longer that version of myself, and I don't want to be. That version of myself wasn't worse, and this one's not better, but I want to experience more, and you can experience more. Just commit to being something. Commit to truly understanding and knowing something by becoming it. That's what you have to do. That's how you level up, and that's how you become the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was impactful and gave you a positive perspective on whatever it is that you're going through. If you want to make sure you don't miss a single episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link down below. It will keep you up to date with every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook group all down below. So I appreciate all the follows there. And if you're ready to level up, if you've been listening to my podcast, or maybe this is the first one and you want to make a shift, I have 2 spots left in my one-on-one mindset coaching program. It will never be available like this again. At the end of this year or after these 2 spots, I will no longer do this type of coaching. So if you wanted to do this, if you wanted to work with me on this capacity, now is the time. The best way to do it is to reach out to me via Instagram. I'm happy to have a conversation with you there and talk about how the program could be right for you. But if anything, I just appreciate you listening to the podcast, applying some of the things that I share that make you feel the way that you desire. It means the world to me. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.